Hi. Hello, everybody. I'm going to see how this all works. I got a little bit of a different setup here today, and I have a little microphone here. So hopefully on Instagram you can hear me. Hello, hello. Might have been annoyed. So I have Instagram and of course I have YouTube. So I'm doing a little bit of both today as per usual, but just a little bit different setup and starting something new. I am looking at getting a microphone so I can hook it up to um, my computer and utilizing a microphone for my computer. So I'm doing that as well. So just trying different setups, trying to, expand and go into a different setups. So if you're on YouTube, please like, subscribe, and share, comment, and all of that good stuff, right? I'm at 295 for subscribers on YouTube. Very excited about that. I'm going for 300. That's only 5 more subscribers. Come on, 5 more subscribers. Um, and we'll see what we do. When the weather gets a little bit nicer, I am going to be going out and about a little bit more. So that's something I'm going to be doing. Right now, weather is kind of crazy. We have another snowstorm here in Calgary. I think it's still snowing. It looks bright, but you know, between the winds and the snow, it's been very crazy, energetic weather lately, along with everything else that's going on in this big, beautiful world. So let's get to it. Let's get to this astrological hello weather right now. So I'm going into my notes. I have notes. Yes, I do have notes, as you all know. And I find that doing notes, like I've been doing this for quite some time and getting notes together in the morning and looking at the astrology and stuff. I don't usually do it prior. I'm not like, ooh, let's do it for a week. Just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. So I usually I usually just do it in the morning. So we're the one thing that I have had a lot of comments, and you're seeing it everywhere. We're seeing it on TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, and other social medias that are out there, all about the scientists. So, and one of the big ones, I guess, because the David Wilcock's one really hit the spiritual community quite hard because of who he was, and all the videos that he did. I didn't follow David that much. As I said before, I did meet him eons ago, once very briefly. Very nice, gentle, calm, very small man. Wasn't very big. He's very tiny. He's just a tiny guy. But he did have a lot of energy. So there's a lot of feelings around this, and both astrologically and energetically, uh, gonna piece this, together within astrology and the cosmos. The situation, especially around him, is anything. I think anything involving reports of, and mental health struggles, letters needs to be treated with care and skepticism. This kind of stories often can get distorted, and we're very good at going down rabbit holes. I know I am. And especially right when the collective energy is unstable right now, and it is very unstable. We just found out that another scientist from Calgary, who moved to the States and has worked on some of the other projects from NASA and other secret projects, I guess, has unalived. So there's a lot of information and energy that's coming through this. Now, I do listen to different streams and follow different people. about this. Hey, I'm here and able to listen. Woo! Snowed again here. Woo! Weather's nuts. Woo! Just saying. I follow different streams. Some of the streams is some of the people that I do follow. Probably some people don't may not follow them because they're very abnormal. I'm going to say abnormal. They're not mainstream type of people. They go into the very obscure type of energies and downloads and stuff. So, anyways, one of them is saying because of through his guides that he follow the guide that he has, and he talks to, and he's somebody who's been around for a very long time. He still walks this earth, and which I feel okay. Okay. Let's back it up. Let's back this up, baby. I personally believe that there are people that walk this earth that have been walking this earth for thousands of years, and they're still here. They might change, of course, they change identities or forms and things like that. Very much, I mean, like vampires. Like you see the vampire families, and the families have been around for a long time. They lived in certain areas, and they're still there. I really believe that there are ancient people that are still here. I guess you can call them ancient, that are here. They're guides. They come from certain bloodlines that walk upon this earth. That's my belief. I know it's crazy. I know it might be, obscure, but that's one of the things that I can feel it, right? Because there are different types of blood types, right? And some of them they can't even identify. So if you're an Rh negative bloodline, uh, they can identify your bloodline. Like it's very difficult for them to find the origin of your bloodline, where other bloodlines they can find the origin of. So me, I am one of those Rh negative bloodlines. And in the obscurity of it, of what is the lineage of it. And maybe somewhere within my bloodline something got knocked off, or maybe, we weren't privileged with everything. Maybe because we're Irish. Yeah. But anyways, so one of them I do. I follow, and following, like, even for him to follow his bloodline. And with when he's relaying the information and stuff, it's like they're talking about where these scientists have all hit something that, of course, they don't want it to come out into this alignment at this time, into this timeline, because they unveiled information that powers that be don't want the regular Joe to really know about. So, and also other powers beyond theirs have said, okay, no, this is not the timeline for all of this to come out. There's other things that have to be fulfilled before any of this information can actually come out, right? Let's see. Oh, see, I'm trying something new. And there we go. See if this works. I'm trying. There we go. Okay. So the thing is that there's, and I've talked about this before. There's information that the Vatican, Smithsonian, have, that we're not privy to, whether it has to do with the giants, whether it has to do with aliens, whether it has to do with many other factors, multi diverse dimensions and things along that line. There is information that is there. I believe that some of these, or all of these scientists, I think they're up to like 14 scientists now. And I don't think that that's including any of the ones that worked on ancient aliens. And the information that they come in with the ancient aliens. I know sometimes people think, well, that's kind of a crazy show. I've been watching it for a long time. And there is information there, and as they say, anything that we can find, or anything that we find or know about, is in plain sight. It's in movies, it's in songs, they tell you things, right? They were what's that show? It's a comedy and he's and just some of the things that they were saying in this comedy skit about UNICEF and a few other things, right? It's there, it's in plain sight, but people think it's like, oh, the guy who's talking about it, they make sure that the guy who's saying it is kind of weird or he's kind of not the norm, so he's the abstract guy, right? And this is where, especially when you have scientists that are dealing with a lot of information and my okay, this isn't working. Okay, you know what? This ah, it's not working. So hopefully on you know what? I'm gonna come off YouTube and I'm just gonna be on. So if anybody's on YouTube and you joined in or you're just joining in, or I mean on Instagram and you're just joining in, join me on YouTube, okay? Because my mic is going and it's not working. Okay. Love you. So there we go. Just not working. Anyways, so there's a lot of information that I feel like they came across, like the anti-gravity and the anti-gravity when they start looking into the anti-gravity um, stuff that has to do with free energy, and what free energy can do for our society, what free energy can do for people. And when you get too close to something that is going to disrupt, um, then you find they don't like that. It's very much like the Tesla. It's like the guy who did the car that just in the 90s, he developed water. I think he used some kind of distilled water and ran his car on water. And because the way it worked is that the hydrogen from the water and the carbon dioxide from the water fueled the car, and it went for over like 200 miles before it had to be refilled or something like that. So you got for 1 gallon. So there's things like that of course the powers that be that we don't know about. And I'm not talking about government power. There's powers beyond their powers. And then there's powers beyond that power. And within that, there's we're wanting to keep certain things in alignment or keep us in alignment. But I think with the age of social media and things that are coming out with AI, it's very difficult to keep things under wrap. 20, 30 years ago, we probably wouldn't even have noticed a bunch of scientists going missing. We might have heard about maybe 1 or 2 going missing, but not 13, and not really putting things together. You might have had somebody come out and say something about it, and then it would be sort of brushed under the table or brushed away. But now when you have somebody over in Germany talking about it, somebody over in France, you got somebody in Africa talking about it, then you got somebody in South America talking about it, somebody in, Canadians, Americans. So you start getting a lot more people talking about it. Now they're finding that it's like, okay, we can't control this, right? It's getting to a point where uh trying to control it, trying to keep it under wraps, and they're hoping that this will be pushed aside, which it might be, it might get pushed aside until another scientist is no longer with us, right? So that's the other part too. The other thing is to the other multi-dimensional um multiverses. Well, let's call it multiverses. That sounds very comic-y, doesn't it? Many of the multiverses don't want certain information out as well. So because that could also cause a rift, or it could cause where we've pushed the certain boundaries too far within our reality, within our realm, and that could be very much where things can get out of hand. That's why I think that they had to close CERN down. I think they're closing CERN down for about 4 years or something. Because, excuse me, there are certain things that they've pushed too far, right? And when things are getting pushed too far, it gets a little bit crazy. Now, there is a subworld. We're going, there is a subworld. I mean, even in there are worlds that we don't know about underneath, like underneath this, like we're on top, we're walking along this little muggle earth, right? Walk. Well, there are cities in that are underneath. They have people who've worked at Starbucks who've written, um, written or have had to sign MDAs of because of where they worked. And I remember this one time because we kind of joked about it, where one of the girls wanted to at when I worked at Starbucks back in the 90s, you could transfer to any other Starbucks around the world, right? And she was jokingly, she goes, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool if I could get to one of the underground Starbucks?" Ha 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 ha. We kind of laughed about it. We didn't think anything about it, but yeah, there were underground Starbucks where they were very exclusive. They dealt with the very elite people, so-called, I guess, elite, um, and at certain Starbucks, and some of them, of course, they have whole cities. So there's that goes on, and I think a lot of this information that's rising up, information that's coming forward, they really want to, put the thumb on it. They don't want it. They don't want it to come forward. Now, with David, I mean, now it's come out about, and this is allegedly, has come out about his financial woes, and of course, allegedly about his mental health. And the thing, allegedly, when you look back at a lot of his videos, you see that there is kind of oddness within some of his videos. There's also within all of that, there is where some, he even I think was that 2022? Was he talking about that? Anyways, it was one of the video because his videos now, because I'm talking about it, his videos seem to pop up everywhere on my feeds. And so the thing is that with information that's coming up and stuff like that, and he was talking even about the God particle, or the access to the divine, and that a lot of the scientists have unveiled that, oh my God, there is a God kind of thing, the information. Now, for whatever reason, they don't want people to actually know about that. They they want to kibosh it, I guess, with everything. So here we are. Everything is feeling very. I think it feels like we're kind of sitting, we're waiting. Looking at the news and looking at the information, nothing really has changed. It's all the same kind of stuff, and nothing is fully revealed yet. And and with Uranus right now at 29 degrees, it's going to be going into Gemini at 18:18 p.m. today. And as it goes in, this threshold moment, at 29 degrees, it's the aneretic, it's the final breath, it's whew, yeah, final breath. It's unstable, pressure, emotional, under the surface. Now, when any time Uranus moves into a sign, something dramatic happens. Uh, so when it moved into Aries, I mean, we had Fukushima. When it moved into Taurus, there was the whole thing about the insurrection in the United States and stuff like that. Now it's going into Gemini, and I mean fully into Gemini. This is where, we're finding a lot of earthquakes that are going on right now. There's a lot of volcanic eruptions that are happening right now. And so you got air and mutable air hitting electricity, hitting uranium. So things are going to be feeling a little bit cray cray. And this is also where things crack open. So unstable pressure when it comes to emotions under the surface. This is where money systems, values, identity, security, and physical reality. This is why stories like the one I mentioned feels amplified. Not because they're necessarily true or false, but because they plug into the collective fear and instability field at this time. So there's going to be a lot more that is going to be happening like this. So with Taurus, what is real and stable? Gemini, what is said, shared, and interpreted. So when Uranus crosses over, truth becomes fragmented, multiplied, and questioned. This is where we get conflicting stories, viral narratives, sudden letters, leaks, claims, psychological protection, and most importantly, people trying to make meaning too fast. And I feel like we're at a point where we want to know, we want the meaning, we want give us that substance, right? Because we feel like we've been lied to. A lot of people have been feeling very, of course, used and pushed aside, and where people this is where, especially with, Pluto being in Aquarius, it's like humanity's getting to a point where it's like, for fuck's sake, we're tired of all this crap. We're tired of being pushed aside. We want answers. We want to know. So here we are at this place. Now, this is where, mm, if we go back to just to 1940s, where people were feeling very much the same way, and they wanted to be heard. They wanted someone to say, show us the way. Now, for Hitler to get as big as he was, right? There was a lot of things that played into him to get to his power that he got to, right? It wasn't that he just walked in there and then they handed it over. He basically started back in the 30s. He was in World War One. He saw the destructions what happened to his country. He saw a lot of the craziness that was going on within his own government, right? Mein Kampf, if you read his book, I mean, when you go into a lot of studies, people, when you're studying political or geopolitical, they have you read this one, read this book. That's giving you different, not that you're going to follow them, but it's giving you a different narrative of understanding why certain things are unfolding at certain times in this world, right? And what causes that, and what causes for somebody like him to come into power. Well, when it takes you, and I remember this picture when it was in grade school, and it was we're studying World War II and the Depression, and there was a picture of a woman taking a wheelbarrow of money to buy a loaf of bread. And that picture really stuck to me because I'm just like, all of that money, and German money, to buy one loaf of bread for her family. And it was also there trying to explain inflation to us as well. And that's the thing, is that when you are so distraught in a country that has that shouldn't be, very similar to Venezuela. The Venezuelan people, it's like, no, we live in a country that we have gold, we have silver, we have oil. We're a very profitable country. Yet you get people, the powers that be, that come in and take advantage of it and exploit it. Same thing happened in Germany. Same thing happened in Russia. The Bolsheviks, them rising to power. Why? Because the Tsar was so out of touch with the realities of what was going on with the regular day people. French Revolution. The powers that be were so out of touch. It didn't just happen, of they came in and they took over. took several years in order to get to the point where they took, Marie Antoinette and offed at her head and killed her husband and took her children from her. And this is where we have to understand that there's been a lot of things at play, and it's aligned with the astrology of things that are coming in, and there's and the thing is that astrology is basically a roadmap of saying, okay, this if you take this road, this is the out this is where you're going to end up, right? If you go here, you'll be here. This road, it might be taking you a little bit longer. So we have this roadmap of the astrology showing us that, okay, this is sort of the things that could be at play right now. And when we sit back and we look at everything that's going on within our world at this time, the global world, there's a lot of things that are at play right now that are causing discomfort, disease, is also causing people to really question the world around us. Plus, we are at a time where we are able to get information faster than any other time before. Um, in World War II or even prior, you'd go to the movies and then you get a newsreel, right? Or you sit by what they called the wireless, which was the radio, and receive information. It was at a certain time every evening, people would tune into it. That's where you got your information from. And and also newspapers, right? The printed word. So we're at a time where it's like, okay, we don't have to get the printed word. We don't have to be on the wireless anymore. We don't have to go to the movies to get the newsreels anymore. We just have to pick up our phone and bang, bingo, bango. Wow, look at how many conspiracies I can get into. Look at all the information. I can use AI. I can use either Gemini, chat, whatever, and do a whole research and download and have them go in and find different information for me. This is where we're at. I mean, that's the reality. And in that, it gets people to really start to question what's going on in my world. What is happening in my world? The beautiful thing about being human, we can take a step back from all of this and so that we can digest it and take the breath. And when we can step back and take that breath, we can get a better look at, okay, what is unfolding here and what isn't unfolding. Where do I fit within all of this craziness, right? And this is where we will find that, with the conflicting stories, the viral narratives, the sudden letters, leaks, and claims, this is where things, the psychological projection that is happening. And most importantly, this is where people were trying, as I just said, trying to make meaning too fast in a world. So things move a lot faster than what they did 100 years ago. And this is where we have to take that step back. Everything is just sitting sitting in and waiting for something to be kicked off, right? And the structure of our world, it's ended. And that was Uranus and Taurus. I remember, I remember when Uranus was going into Taurus, and I told people about the destabilization of the money, of the bank systems, of our values, and we're going to see a lot of disruptions when all of that comes in. And sometimes you don't know exactly what that is, but here we are. We see destabilization of our wealth, of our money. We see destabilization of the bank system and of our values, our day-to-day living has been totally disrupted. And in order for us to take a real good look at what is truth and take a look at how am I going, where am I landing? How am I creating this new reality in this new world? This is where when it comes to the new storyline hasn't stabilized, and that's Gemini. So we're in the hallway. So if anybody's watched The Matrix, the matrix between the doors, and you have to wait for the key master to come, and it's like, no, you don't have to wait for the key master to come. This is the exact Uranus ingress energy. And Moon is leaving Leo, so that's ego, certainty, and moving into Virgo. Virgo analyzes, and it's anxiety and it's detail, and it's squaring over to Uranus. And this creates emotional reactions to incomplete information. There's so much information that's out there, but I like, give me the bottom line. Show me what it is. Like especially when when I do readings and I listen to people, and it's funny because you're listening to them and they're telling you all of this stuff and everything else, and that's fine. And you're listening to them, you're just like, okay, they're repeating the same story to themselves over and over and over again. And within that story that they're repeating to themselves, the answer is there, but they're just not listening to the answer that's there. So basically, what I do is that I sift through all the information that they give to give them the answer that's there. Not all the time do they want that answer, but I'm just like, but you just said what the answer is, right? And that's important for you to really look at. What is the story that you keep telling yourself over and over and over again? That's why I say journaling is great, because when you start writing something out and you start writing the story out and you start writing it out, you will find as you continue writing, the information that you are looking for, it will reveal itself. And it may not be exactly what you like. It may not be exactly the way that you want to look at it. But it's what is needed for you at this time. That's where we're at. That's the energies that we're in, and the changes that are unfolding for us at this time. So for many people, with this, the emotional reaction to incomplete information, this may be, people jump to conclusions, they spiral, they try to figure it out, attach meanings too quickly. And instead of taking the step back and just, okay, let me see how this doesn't all seem complete. There's something more to it, right? And it's like you got to ground the truth of the moment. And instead of chasing the story, look at what the real energetic instructions are. Not everything needs to be solved right now. Gemini will reveal things over time. As I say, as you journal the information through conversations and layers, information is going to come up. The truth is going to be made clear. And we need to ask more questions, right? This is so important, is that we have to answer more questions and ask more questions, right? And this is where, not this is what happened, but what is unfolding here? What's coming up that's unfolding? So you can go back to the scientists and take a step back and say, what is unfolding here with all the information that's coming in? You could draw the lines and you can look at it and you're saying, okay, there's something there, right? But there's also where I say there's a backside or a back wall. There's more to it than meets the eye. So more information has to come forward in order for us to really understand and see what the truth is coming in. We can draw too many conclusions. We can go to, well, this is how it is, and this is what I know. This is what I know. But I feel nobody actually really knows. Just saying. So our nervous system, over information consumption, the example, of stress versus health. So there's a lot to do with our health right now that's actually very aligned with this transit. Uranus and Gemini will test mental overload, information addiction, constant stimulation. Now, if people have an addiction issue, drugs, alcohol, TV, food, um, sex. There's many different types of addictions people can have. This is where you can get a overload of that. And the real mastery is staying calm while things are unclear. And as you are staying calm in this, it can be very difficult because you got to look at what are the feelings that are coming up for you and look at those feelings. Now we're dealing with air, right? Air doesn't like to look at their feelings. Air likes to analyze it, right? But this is saying no, you got to come in and you got to feel the feelings in order to understand what the feeling is. If you're jumping and wanting to jump to conclusions that I need to know, I need to know, I need to know this, and even with fire signs, it's like, well, that's my passion. That's where I got to go. I know it's true. And I'm just like, hey, hang on here. Let's take a step back, people. Because just because you think you know, that doesn't mean that is the truth of what you know. And that there's a huge difference there. You might think you know, but that's not the truth of what you know. And you can come to me, my guide said, I'm like, cool. I love that you're listening to your guides, but that doesn't mean that's exactly what you need to do. That means, and then I look at the sign. Okay, you're an air or you're a fire sign. Okay, yeah, you guys are fire. You're passionate, and you're just like, yeah, this is like I'm the sword. I'm gonna cut through this. Whew, we got to come into some ground in here, baby. What do you mean? I got to sit? I got to sit with this. I got to ground this out. Yeah, you do. We all do. Because we can get very excited over things and that's where we can fall. That's where we can stumble. And this is like, okay, no, let's just take a step back. We got the sun in Taurus. Take the breath. Take the breath. Because there's going to be a lot more of craziness that is going to be unfolded over the next little while. And Uranus is in Gemini for 8 years, thereabouts, right? So we have a lot of unfolding that's going to be happening at this time. A lot of information that is going to be coming in, and a lot of things that are going to be like, what the hell? What do you mean? Right? So this is where we just have to allow ourselves that breath, that groundedness, so we're not over getting ourselves overwhelmed and our nervous system is getting too much. And the truth of this cycling is the shock doesn't come from events, it comes from not moving with the change. So instead of trying to decode every story or waiting for certainty, the medicine is we move, we ask, we engage, we try. We just don't bulldoze and just, oh, this has to be the whole truth and everything. We're just like, let me just take I'm going to move through this. And yeah, and just do my due diligence of what it is that I have to do. Right? I got to do the groundwork. So the whole thing, a lot of this energy is that you got to do the work. There's groundwork in this. This isn't any spiritual bypassing. This is about doing the work that you have to do. Now, if you don't want to do the work, if you don't want to do that work, you're going to find that things are going to get a lot harder for you. And a lot more is going to fall apart for you. And that's where you could have that's where a lot of people are going to have a mental breakdown and feel lost and feel out of sorts. And that's because they're not coming into the truth of their reality and looking at it and taking responsibility for it. In some ways, they might think they're taking responsibility, but when you take a step back and you're like, you're not taking full responsibility because you're not changing. You're not changing those habits that cause you that damage. You're not doing the work that you need in order to make it all happen. You're just trying to bypass it in some way, or jump to some kind of conclusion, and then that's it, and not actually do the work as you move through it. And that's the whole thing. It's like you got to do the work. You got to do that, right? And if you're not doing it, it can be frustrating. And we're all going to things are going to all happen to us. Things, things are going to get all muddled for us. Things, and that's with all of us, right? And that's with every single one of us. So this is where we really have to take a real good look at, okay, what in my life is working? What isn't working? How can I move forward? Sometimes it's like, oh, what do you mean I have to get outside? I have to go talk to people? Yeah. I can't stay inside my house all day. No, you got to get out there. You got to participate. That's going to be a hard one for me because I don't like getting out. I don't like leaving. I don't like leaving my house. Now that I don't have a vehicle right now, I don't like leaving at all. It's like going out thinking about catching a bus is like, fuck me. Are you serious? But there are things that you have to do, right? So there's some things I can do. Like, yeah, cool. I can order my groceries online. Cool. I can do that. That saves me from trying to do grocery shopping and carrying it on the bus. But there are other things that I could be doing. Let's say go to the library. Maybe there is some kind of meetup group or something to go to. I don't know. I haven't really investigated it yet. But it's doing that stepping out and connecting. And that's a big one. Is allowing yourself to do those types of things. We are all in the boat. We're all there together. There's going to be a lot of mistakes we're all going to make, and that's fine. None of us are perfect, and shit happens. Just saying. And this is where I feel like, yeah, I think we're all also in a very good spot. I think there's some really great harmony that's here with us. And looking at that harmony, looking at that energy is getting us to really come into a positive place, right? So coming in and those gratitudes. I was watching a thing yesterday. Was it? Anyways, I think it might have been Thursday. I don't know. Anyways, and she was talking about AI and doing things with AI. But she goes, I have a special phone. I have a direct line. And everybody's, oh, what's it? And she goes, I have a direct line. It's my banana phone. And this is her banana phone. I love it. I love it. And she goes, you pick up your banana phone and you talk to yourself. And this is who that you're talking to directly. You're saying, you know what? This is what I want to create, or this is what I want to do. And so you're talking, you're bringing in your gratitudes, but you're talking directly into your banana phone. I thought that was such a wonderful analogy in what she does. And she's a theater actress, and she also helps people with AI and getting their businesses going with AI. So very vibrant, cool lady, you know. But she's just saying, pick up your phone. You got phone, you got direct access, talking to your phone. And so I thought, I like that. I like that. I like that analogy. Pick up your phone, talk into your phone. This is what, talk it out. Talk it out, right? And see how it unfolds, right? Keep a prayer journal, right? I've been doing that. I got a prayer journal on my Canva. So I started a prayer journal on my Canva and doing a prayer journal. So start some kind of prayer journal. And then you can add whatever stickers, because I love using stickers. I love stickers. I do. I really love stickers. But this is where it's like, if you want to start doing something, and I already have Canva. So I decided, well, I have Canva and it has all those little clip arts and stuff like that I can utilize, and I can use them for free. Well, not free, but I pay for them. But it's not like I go to Michael's or the dollar store where I have to pick up all of these different stickers all the time and stuff like that, you know? And so that's what I do. So I have my prayer journal and I write in my prayer journal practically every day, right? I do have other journals that I do write in and stuff, but this helps so I don't have so many journals lying around anyways. But, if you feel called to do something like that, definitely do it. And you'll be amazed. And it'll help you to keep track of things too, of what you're asking for and what you're doing. So it'll help you to, really open your eyes to the direction of where you want to go to. So, yeah, there's some little bit of things. So things are crazy. I feel one of the cards I got was the Queen of Pentacles reversed, right? So the Queen of Pentacles upright, I mean, she wants everything done. She wants everything perfect. I want it all perfect. Give it to me. Everything has to be the way, this way and that way. And, but when she's reversed, it's like you're a little bit more open to, I'm not ready yet. I don't have enough, right? This is the reverse thing. And then the 10 of Pentacles came up and it was about the foundation. You're already forming it. You're already creating something that is really fantastic and beautiful. That's the paradox of this weekend. You don't feel stable, but stability is forming through the movement, through what you are doing. And, the other, things that I love to do. I mean, I'm doing, what is it? My May workshop, which is very cool. I'm quite excited about that. Just finishing off the April container, and then we're moving into the May workshop. And the May workshop is about blossoming. See if I don't know if I can do this. I've never done this before. It's never shared my screen. I don't know if I can do this. Okay. Cool graphics. Thank you. Thanks to AI. My AI. Here, I could do this. I didn't know I could do this before. I'm learning so much. There. Look at that. I didn't. Anyways, you guys are learning with me. So this sacred rhythms. Isn't that awesome? So here we got, this is my May workbook. And my May workbook is blending the mundane and the magical. So the foundation of sustainability, boundaries and containers, boundaries and that protect your energy and create the necessary space, elevating, rhythm as flow and the sacred beginnings. So with the new moon and the entry of the new moon. So we have the sacred rhythms that I am, that we're doing. We also have okay, hang on. Boom. We're going to share this tab. Did it work? Oh, fuck yeah. Sorry. I know, I'm giddy. I'm like a little kid. So this here, and we're just going to do it in presenter view. We don't. Oh. Now, I have it. Whoop, whoop. Hang on. Ran into some issues. Because I don't want the music. So we'll go back to here. So what about the bottom? Ignore this at the bottom here. So we have, am I sharing it? No, I'm not sharing it. See, I'm learning this. This is great, right? The blooming path. The blooming path. I love that. the blooming path we're going with. So this is the May ritual workbook. This is sort of an outline of what I did with the May ritual workbook. So it is 31 days to ignite desire. What it is a portal of awakening. So May is not just gentle, it's alive. It's the moment of the soul stopping waiting. This is, you can get the workbook on its own if you just want the workbook. I'll be completing it probably today. So if you want the workbook, you can have that, or if you want to join me for the full month, and that we will be doing a full moon meditation next Monday, along with the Beltane, and then we will also have the new moon and then a full moon one too. So we'll be that'll be part of the working with me for the full month. Plus, you get the videos that I will be weekly videos that you can upload, and that's $50 for all of that. If you just want the workbook's like $20. So, anyways, there's the May portal. So the thing is that there's a celestial roadmap. So the week 1, we have the ignition and desire, the Beltane portal, the full moon. Week 2, rooting your into worth, pre-Taurus new moon. And then we have the new moon in Taurus. And then, of course, we end up with an expansion, which is the full moon in Sagittarius. And with that, we go through our desires, which is the spark, our worth, which is the root, and capacity, which is our vessel. So the architect of expansion. And that's what May is about. The energies of May is about our whole expansion and how we're expanding within this energy. And along with that, with the ignition, we're not just skimming the surface, we're going to be diving deep. The Beltane is a celebration of the life force, right? So the May Day, I don't know if any of you ever did May Day and a May Day celebration, and y'all got to dance around a pole. In where is it? In outside of Penticton, there's a place called Naramata, and they have a huge celebration for the May Day. They have a parade and everything, and they have a little market. And I used to do the market every year and do readings. And we would all come down there. There was a barbecue, picnic, and everything for everybody. There was a stage that was set up, and they'd have music and all kinds of stuff. It was absolutely fabulous. Loved it. Loved it. So there's that. So we have the full moon in Scorpio, and it is igniting things. It's getting things done, right? And along with that is what the alchemy is the ignition. So we have the focus, the sacred affirmations, magical pairings, and the core inquiry. So I go through this with you and with it, in the group sessions, and look at what are the sacred affirmations. So we have an affirmation that you can write down. You can pick and choose. You don't have to do them all every day. If there's one that you feel is right for you, then you choose that one. We also look at the magical pairing with it. So if you chose my body is wise, I trust what I feel, chamomile and garnet. So you could go and find yourself a garnet bracelet if you wish. You could find a little garnet and just have and put it in your pocket, and having chamomile tea. Chamomile tea is really beautiful, helps to calm the system. And you can either, I'd advise drinking it in the evening or in the late afternoon just to help with the calmness. And where is there tightness, and what is asking for attention? So we want to look at it because May is a really transformational too, right? And we want to come into this grounding, especially as things feel very ignited and illuminated, and information coming in from all different directions. So this is where we want to look at that ignition. And as we do that, we go into the phase 2, how we root it, our money, our stability, our self-worth. Now, we still have that moon in Taurus, right? So that moon in Taurus looks at what is your money? After a fire comes the earth, and after desire is awakened, we must decide what we are willing to hold. And you got to look at, what is it that we want to hold? What is it that we want to do? And this week it's not about chasing. I need to chase the next dream to make the next buck, right? Or I need to, find my self-worth, so I got to find the next group or person or whatever it is to give me that self-worth. It's about the steady groundedness that this is bringing in. Because before money shifts, energy must shift. So where your attention goes, your life flows. And I've said that for years. That's one of the reasons why I do the prayer journal. And I'll just sort of briefly I'll show you my prayer journal. But my prayer journal is about, I'm asking, this is what I want to create. But in order to create it, I have to allow for that energy to shift. I can't hang on to it. I got to let it go. And in letting it go, it allows for new things and newness to come in. One of the reasons why I do the hard meditation, like hud, 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 hud. I do that because it breaks open the energy. It opens things up, right? Had is the first part of God, right? So bringing that energy in, had, HAR. So teaching that meditation as well through this and doing it on a daily basis, you're going to find that bringing in that prosperity, that wealth, that joy, that happiness comes forth because that's all connected to your worth, right? So, and as we're doing that, we go into the alchemy of the earth. So, energy, what's your money story? Right? I am safe to look at the money relationship with money honestly, bringing in basil and citrine, bringing in that energy. If you want, I could even do money spell for you. But the thing is that we could do all of these spells. We could do all of that. But if you're not allowing for the energy to shift and looking at things groundedly and within reality, it doesn't matter what it is, if it's money, if it's a relationship, if it's how you're dealing with certain your own self-worth, nothing's going to shift. Nothing's going to happen. You're going to be still in the same loop. So you got to allow for that shifting to happen. You got to allow for that energy to come forth. And safety in the body, knowing that your body that you're safe, that you're going to be okay, right? That's the thing. So and enoughness that you are. I am already enough. I'm beautiful. I am enough, right? Maybe I'm more than enough for a lot of people. So that's all part of that energy that's coming in for it and in this workshop. And then we look at the morning manifestations. Things that we do in the morning, right? So, our gratitudes, stepping into our intentions, expansion, right? So it's like in my morning manifestation, what do I do? What is the first thing I do in the morning? Now, if the first thing that you do in the morning, and I hate to say, if you've heard this before, do you grab your phone and start scrolling, right? Like, one of the first things that I feel like people it doesn't matter how busy you are in the morning, you have to get out and you have to get the kids. First thing in the morning, if you sit up and you just stretch and you say, "Thank you. Oh, thank you for this day. Thank you for this bounty. Thank you for all that I have and all that is on the way. Thank you." There you go. Write down 10 things. And you could do it on your phone if you want. You could write it down physically if you want. And then intention. I want. What do you want? What is that intention of what it is that you want? So this could be something that, okay, you know what? I'm going to sit down. I'm going to do this on a Sunday morning and look at this, right? And then expansion. I wish you will. Like write 10 people and a wish for them. What they most desire. Shift your energy outwards. What do you wish for other people? And this is with love and this is with positive intention. So there's that with that also. Then we go on and we go into phase 3, the embodiment and receiving, the new moon. The new moon in Taurus is very felt, it's very deep. And you have begun to understand it, and now you have to receive it. Allow yourself to receive that bounty. Allow yourself to receive that beauty. That's why I'm going to say it's very important to keep some sort of journal or some sort of I'm going to say a prayer journal for yourself and doing that. And with that, you come into the alchemy or embodiment. This is to slow down the radical allowing, being versus doing, receiving support and looking at what that is for you and allowing yourself to be supported. From there, the ritual deep dive. Receiving doesn't not happen in urgency, it happens in presence. It happens by showing up, by doing, right? It's a space that anchors your body in pleasure and safety. So it's that foundation. You're gathering the soft fabrics or the visual art and the delights of your eyes, bringing in that beautiful things that you want in and around you. And maybe it's like going out and it could be, oh, let's go thrifting and let's go find some new pillows or whatever it is that you love to do. Anchoring it, bringing in, so placing some heavy stones or crystals or emeralds in and around you, having that element, activating, bringing in that nectar. What is it that you want? Those physical indulgence, the beautiful rich teas or dark chocolate or beautiful scents like rose or vanilla. Bringing those things in and around you. Very simple things to activate, very easy. But when you start really stepping into that personal power that is yours, when you start stepping into that beauty that is yours, you start to really see how things can unfold for you. And with that, we have building a reality that holds, right? And I love this picture because it's got a cute little turtle. See the little tortoise there? He's going there. Yeah, he's got to reach there. That's where he's going. It's a journey. And the journey was not a quick change. It's about truth. And that's what people have to understand, that this energy that we're going through, it is not about a quick change. It's not about getting things all done at once. It's slow and steady, right? And that slow and steady pace. And for my prayer journal, so this is my prayer journal. If you have Canva, you can do this in Canva. Canva, you can download it for free and use all the free stuff. I pay for the pro because of I do a lot of work in Canva. But yeah, just doing that. And then over here, all the different things I've used recently and the things that I've added in recently. You could do searches and describing the elements. You can have different templates and use the different templates. And then the different fonts and stuff that you can use. Having a prayer journal, I just basically write things out. I have, and I change each page and doing something a little bit different with it. Adding, as you can see, I like flowers. I'm a flower person. And the different energies or the different things that I want. And then part of my prayer journal, this is the one thing that I started on this page, is just bringing together certain elements in my life and of things that are going on and things that I'm doing, right? So I bring in, I thought, well, let me do a little collage page for my prayer. Because sometimes when you're doing a prayer journal, words are fabulous, they're great, but visuals can really take it to another level and doing a visual. So, doing it, this is my new logo um that I am mm, that I am going with. And this was Sherry helped me to do this logo. She just threw something together. And so I took it and she had sit with me. I added come sit with me. Just highlighted a few of the energies here. I I played with whether keeping the heart there or not keeping the heart. I like the heart there. I love the colors that are there, the books that are there, the idea of it being on the beach, because I love the water, I love the beach kind of energy. That's where it is. This is the other one that I was looking at, and it was nice. I mean, I still like this logo, and I still will use it. A lot of people didn't think it looked like me. I thought it, I did. I don't know. I kind of liked it. It was it was different, and it has the cup and everything that's there and stuff. So it just cleaned my face up. My hair is not that long, um, and stuff, but you know, I tried it with shorter hair and I look like a granny. I didn't like that. Uh, but just doing the different things. So that's what I've been doing. So people ask me, "What do you do?" Well, that's what I've been doing. So doing those types of things help to elevate what it is that you want to create and how you want to create more into your life. And when you are wanting to make the change and you are feeling frustrated and you're feeling overwhelmed, I'm just going to stop the share. When you're feeling frustrated and overwhelmed, sometimes doing those little things can really help. And I, you know, I was not very good with Adobe and doing Adobe. It was just I found it very complicated for me and for my little brain, where I found Canva very easy. Plus, Canva, I can hook, Canva works with, because I use Chat GPT a lot. And now I'm learning how to use Gemini. And then there's a new platform called Notebook, LM. Um, so learning how to use different things um when you're expanding, and sometimes it's scary. I get very anxious when I'm learning something new. I get overwhelmed. And I know people start asking me, well, what are you doing, what are you doing, what do you think about this, have you done this, blah 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 blah. And I'm just like, ah, and I kind of back off because I'm a projector. I'm not a manifester. I'm not a manifester generator or a generator. I'm a projector. I work at a different timeline. I work at a slower pace. And when a lot of things come at me at once, I get very overwhelmed. And if I have to learn something new, it overwhelms me even more. And I get a lot of anxiety with that. And that's just because I'm learning a new process and trying to process it in my own time. That took me a while to learn exactly what a projector was, right? And understanding my energy as a projector. Most of you who watch me or follow me are either a generator, a manifestor generator, or a manifester. Your energies work a lot different than mine. Mine aren't a 9 to 5, got to do this, or working and staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning. I can't do that on a regular basis. I will burn out and get extremely sick. I could do short jumps of things. That's why I'm really good at doing, say, an ex a big market, an expo. So I'm really good if I do an expo. If I do an expo, you'll see me. I can get there on Friday. I could do all day Saturday, however long it is. I could do all day Sunday, no matter, and do what I have to do. Then by the time I get home, shower, take it down, and then I'll have to take at least 2 days off after that. I have to recalibrate my energies with all of that. And for the longest time, I didn't really realize that's what I had to do. And many times it really made me sick or made me like, I don't want to do this shit anymore. And I get very overwhelmed. Understanding that has allowed me to learn how to recalibrate. So when people ask me, and they come at me, "Well, have you figured it out? What about this?" I'm just like, "Whoa, I'll let you know," kind of thing. I'm just trying to figure it out myself because their energy is like a manifester. Like it's like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is what I'm creating. I'm gonna go create that. This is, here I am. I'm a generator. Go boom, 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 boom. We're gonna do this for the next 24 hours. Like they're bang, they're up, they're doing all this. Totally not. Totally not my energy. Like, I love it. I love to be around it, and I can get into that energy. That's probably why I do really well at expos, because I can get into the energy and I can, oh, yeah, because it's like that's a projector. Projectors really kind of feed off of that energy. It gives them that boost that they need. If they don't have that boost or they don't have those reactions, sometimes they can get very distraught, very depressed, because they're not getting that feed, right? They're not getting, well, I'm doing all this work. What the hell, right? And they could get very like um, grudgeful, I guess the word will be, because they're like, holy shit, I'm doing all this work. I'm doing the same way. I'm doing what they're doing, but I work at a different pace. Other people will get their what they need right away. Me, no, I'll get it in chunks. It'll come in pieces because my goal is teaching. My goal is to allow for people to come to me, not for me to go to them. And as people come to me, I'm here to be able to do what I do. Whoever feels aligned with me, cool. Could be one person, it could be 10 person, it could be 50. I've had my house filled doing full moon and new moon meditations back in the day, where my house would have like 25 people in doing a meditation. It was cool. It was great. It was a lot of work, but it was really cool, right? But times change, things shift, energy moves in a different direction, and it's all a learning process. You know, what I know now, sure, would I love to have known it years ago? But that's hindsight. I wouldn't have learned everything that I have learned along the way and met the beautiful people that I've met along the way. So, anyways, so the other thing that I am exploring and that I am doing at this time, I don't know, did I put it in here in Canva? Don't think so. See if I can find it. What? Huh. There we go. See what that looks like. Just placing it on there. Bum. So this is what I'm starting to create, and it's a Sunday reset. So grounded rituals for real life. So it's a spiritual grounded space, moving from away from complexity towards a ritual that provides genuine support. So it's a Sunday afternoon session, and it's bringing in the astrology for the week. So a little bit of tarot conversation combined with spiritual tools. This is a place to breathe. It's about real life and supporting and clarity. It's not really a place where, like the May workshop. This is a place where I want to bring people every week and start a Sunday reset. And I do have an exchange if people are able to do $11 and have an $11 exchange. And it's just bringing in a place, right? And what I was thinking of doing with this at first, just to get people aware of it, is, and I think it was Cynthia suggested YouTube and do a private YouTube group. What I was wanting to do is that I will start to do this and work into bringing people into a group. So meaning that I will come in tomorrow afternoon at around 1 o'clock or so and do a Sunday reset. And so I'm going to have a whole Sunday reset. It's going to be free. It's going to be on YouTube. And I will have a link that if people want to send me $11, they can send me $11. If they don't want to send me $11, they don't have to. But I will eventually I'm going to do this for about a month and then so I can bring people into um a subscription or bring them into the fold kind of thing. So that's the way I'm going to do this. And it was something that because this isn't a money maker, like this isn't going to be like my bread and butter kind of thing. This is a place where I really feel, especially with so many shifting things that are happening and energies that are shifting, wanting to bring people into definitely that reset. Definitely into a place where they can feel grounded, where they can come to a place where it's like, okay, I'm not going to be talking about conspiracy theories and all that kind of stuff. It is basically coming in and just allowing yourself to have some meditation. So we're going to start off, and it's going to be formed. We're going to start off with a prayer. So we're going to have an opening prayer that's going to lead into a meditation and allow ourselves to come into a place of meditation and breath. And I will have a few things that, allowing you to journal, allowing you to, create. I might even show you, creating a prayer journal or something along that line. Talk about a little bit about the energy of the week and what's coming forth for this week, and a tarot pull of the energies for the week. So we'll have a tarot for the week. It's not going to have personal readings and stuff. It might. I won't say no, but to begin with, it won't. It's just allowing people to come in to breathe. And so it's going to be something that's happening weekly on Sundays. I just really want to make a space for people to come in so that they feel accepted and grounded. So there we go. Now that I know that I could share shit with you guys, that changes everything. What? So excited. So, anyways, that's what's happening. That's what's going on. If you're interested in anything, just let me know. And I will send you the information, or if you want to work with me on a one-to-one, that's fine. I'm starting more mentorships and doing mentorships more so than one-on-one readings. So mentorship is that I set up a program for you and that we work with a program. And yeah, so shifting, changing, moving with the energies that are coming forth. And I'm going to send you guys out with so much love. Have a blessed day, everybody. And well, we need the moisture. So let's just go with that we need the moisture. All right. So have a blessed one, everybody. Bye-bye.